Soul Healing India and Tuesday gathering. I invite each one of you to this beautiful platform and let us prepare ourselves for this evening. Let us find ourselves a comfortable place so that we are undisturbed for the next 90 minutes or so. So you may want to put your telephones on a mute or aeroplane mode. You may want to shut the doors so that you're not disturbed, maybe put off the calling bell also, so that we can find ourselves in a beautiful space. And as is the custom, let us start with a prayer. So I request each one of you to gently close your eyes. Bring your breathing to a gentle breathing. Take your breath, feel it coming down to your lower abdomen. And as you exhale, relax yourself fully. With every inhalation, we are energizing ourselves. With every exhalation, we are relaxing ourselves. So take another deep breath into your lower abdomen. And as you exhale, totally relax yourself. Let's start with a small prayer to the divine. Those of you who know the mantra can chant with me soulfully. The others can open your heart to listen to this stanza from the Shiva Manas Puja. Atma tvam girijamati sahachara prana shariram griham puja te vishayopabhoga rachana nidra samadhi sthiti sanchara padayo pradakshina vidhi stotrani sarva giro yadyat karma karomi tattadakilam shambho tavaradanam karacharana kritam va kayajam karmajam va Shravananayanajam va manasam va paradham vihitam avihitam va sarvamedacchamasva jaya jaya karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho. How? Thank you. Once again, a warm welcome to each one of you. And let us prepare ourselves to listen to our speaker for this evening, Dr. Asha. I had the privilege of connecting with her when I did a course on mandala therapy. It was on Facebook. And I just saw that, and something about it was, I had always seen mandala drawings, but mandala as a therapy. So I just enrolled for it. And having enrolled for it, I had the privilege of learning so much from Dr. Asha in the just 5 to 6 weeks. And I was really amazed at the structure, the way everything was so beautifully, structured, the program, the curriculum, that I wanted to learn more about her. I went to her website and I found that here is a woman who's got so much of talent, so much of knowledge, so much of wisdom, and how she managed to get it in such a short span of life in this lifetime. I'm amazed. I'm sure it's something from the divine grace that is there, that is nurturing this in her. And without much ado, I welcome her to this evening, and she will be sharing with us much, much more. Welcome, welcome, Dr. Asha.
Thank you. So tomorrow is a very auspicious day, Guru Purnima. So rendering all the bhakti and the diksha is something that we have to realize today, that somewhere the connection between the culture and the there is a huge disconnection between what we think and what we do, and there should be a bridge that have to connect this culture and intelligence together. So today we are going to talk more on cultural intelligence and how that can be a platform for us to realize the quality of life that we are leading and understand why exactly Guru Diksha is important. So this is going to be an interactive session, and I will be allowing you to ask questions. And in between, we are going to have few activities because I believe in the holistic learning. So the conventional method of a sage being on this stage is not something that I believe. I believe being a guide. So whatever little knowledge that I have gained from my gurus, that will be shared with you. So I see this platform as an evolved platform. So you come from a multicultural background. Let's understand and answer this question. What exactly culture, according to you, is? What is culture? There are the words that we use on daily basis, right? So we need to really define this word today for us to build that bridge between the modern science and ancient wisdom. That is something that is missing, and we are not able to value what we have already. So, according to you, what is culture? Umaji, is this okay if it is an interactive session, because I'm used to that? So, yeah, I'm not an island speaker, so I'm happy if everyone participates. Whatever little we know, this is going to be a mutual learning program. I'm not on a very high pedestal of knowing everything. I'm here to learn from you as well. So, according to you, your perception, what is culture?
Anybody can unmute yourself and you can share.
Please.
Yeah. Or you can raise your hand. Yes, Sangeeta, please do.
I feel culture is a way of living where we follow certain traditions, whether it is religious aspects or whether a way of living. That is what I feel is culture.
Fantastic. What is? Is there any other perception? Any other definition that you would like to share?
Yes, Lakshmi?
Yes.
I think it has more to do, culture has more to do with the evolution of the civilization. Culture comes from there.
Okay. We are going to understand this word in detail through a Vedantic tale. So,
Asha Mehra wants to say something.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
I would put culture as the values and the conduct, the conduct of our ancestors, not immediate ancestors, but a whole set of ancestors. The values they lived for, their conduct, their style, religion included, everything. Because at that time, science and religion and everything was one holistic way of living. That I would call culture.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for this answer. So let us understand what exactly culture is. Through a Vedantic tale that I'm going to narrate, there was this Dhobi, And every day he used to carry a lot of cloth on the to the seashore, and it was being carried on a mule, and it had become an everyday practice for him to take the mule, lift the baggage from the mule, and then he used to tie this to a big tree, and then he used to wash the clothes, and once it is dry he used to bring back everything to home. One day he'll realize in the bank of the river that he has forgotten to bring the rope. Then there was a problem, how to tie this mule. So there was a sage, and he'll go to the sage and he'll ask, this animal is not standing in one place. What do? I have so much of work to do. So is there any way that you can please bless me with? He will tell him, do actions. You just have to act as if you are tying this mule to this big tree. Will this work? You try. So he will just enact as if he's pulling the mule and he's trying to tie. And surprisingly, this mule is just a statue there. And this wonders him, and he will finish his work, and the mule is not coming back. Again, he will have his own idea get generated at that time, and he'll again enact as if he is removing the rope from the tree, and then the mule walks. In our life, Hetva Bhasa is something that we need to work to realize what exactly culture is. Hetva Bhasa is fallacies in life. We are being wrapped in a unknown and imaginary ropes. And that imaginary ropes can be the attachments we have. That imaginary ropes can be something that we don't believe. There are a lot of people who value culture, but they don't want to believe for the fact that what I don't know doesn't exist. Right? So our Sanatana Dharma is into extinction for the very reason that I need everything factual. I need to touch, I need to feel, I need to see a white man wearing a coat and speaking about this, then I value this exists. So it is an imaginary rope that we have all tied. So culture is all about realizing that imaginary rope. Each one of us come from different background, right? We speak different languages, but still this is a platform for us to think and to see life in one perspective. So this is culture. Culture is a, culture is a celebration. Culture is the attempt made by the creators to bring all of us together and make us see life in one particular focal point, and that is humanity. So cultural intelligence is being explained in Ratha Drishtanta. So this is a beautiful concept from Ranna's Gadha Yuddha. It is a Mahabharata influence. So what is this Ratha Drishtanta? Ratha Drishtanta is going to explain us to understand how our life looks like. When you see the Partha Sarathi, the Krishna, Arjuna and the Ratha, there is immense knowledge that we can gain just looking at the schema. What is that? Ratha is your body. Horses are your emotions. And there is Krishna called intellect sitting in your Ratha who is ready to pull you to the right direction. And there is you, the Arjuna, who is a traveler. What happens if you give keys to this horse? Your emotions. It is going to drive you crazy and you don't even realize where you are going. And in your life, try giving these keys to the intellect who knows everything. So cultural intelligence is bringing all of us together and understanding our life through intelligence, not emotions. When you bring in emotions, that is when we realize you, me, and this is great, this is superior, this is inferior. There are so many comparisons that happens. Try operating with intelligence. What is that one thing that I can learn from this culture? I'm a traveler and I have traveled all around India and I have explored each religion. I have explored each culture, and there is immense knowledge that you can gain from any of the culture. And we are blessed to be born in this rich country who expose and let us explore multicultural environment. So this is cultural intelligence. When you bring in the humanity and try to keep it in a safe place by bringing your intelligence, that becomes our cultural intelligence, which is missing these days. So these days, what is happening in the today's environment is we are killing the postman for bringing bad news. That is exactly happening. The one who speaks, we want facts. One who is telling something, we will ask question, does this exist? Is Puranas true? Is Itihasa Ramayana? Okay, Ram existed? Really? You have any historical evidence? So we are killing the postman for bringing news because this news is the heritage. And there is a lot of learning that can happen through Mahabharata and Ramayana, which we don't even realize. So there is a small exercise why we are unable to realize why there is an impact on the society. We will explore this through an activity. So hope you all going to participate. Yes? Yes? Okay, fine. You have your two hands, right? Good. So I'm a master hypnotist. So let me try a hypnotic, bring an hypnotic aspect to the talk. So if you have your two hands, just assume that your fingers are magnets. Okay, these fingers, the index fingers are magnets. Tell yourself that these two fingers are magnets. Okay, spread your fingers. Just try bringing your two hands together. Okay, lock your fingers. Put your thumbs inside and remove the magnets. And you see magnets getting attracted. How much ever you resist, it gets attracted, and it gets attracted. Okay. So this is not a hypnotic exercise. This is a simple experiment within the group for us to understand that there are different, that is 5 states of mind that exist. Whenever you deal with members of the family, there are different people who exist. Who are they? Number 1, you're listening to me and something is making sense. And Umaji introduced me in a way that each one of you could shower the love and affection after that. So you believe you already have that preconceived notion, this lady makes sense, and might it happen, and it just happened. There are the people who get influenced by the environment. There are the members in your family also who will listen and change the direction immediately. Monday you see a different individual and Tuesday you see a different individual. Where are they getting influenced? You don't even understand. That's a beautiful mindset. You know, we want such people. So we want weeds. We want, the aquatic plants. We need terrestrial plants. We need parasites to keep this environment warm and healthy. So we need all kinds of mindset. And this is a beautiful mindset. We don't know to propel the wisdom through this kind of mindset. And the second is, I resist to do. Okay, just because this lady told why it should happen, hey, it shouldn't happen. So the world is moving in one direction, I want to take another direction. There are a lot of people who come from this end. And the third thing is, it happens, but I want to recheck whether it happens again. There are a lot of people who keep experimenting in life, who doesn't have a strong belief system on one thing. I take up, I experience, I lose interest, I leave it. I take up, experience, lose interest, and leave it. Yeah. And there are the fourth mindset that we explored is, I am not bothered whether it is happening for me. I am looking at other windows, what is happening for others. Yeah, there are a lot of people from this end who are more worried about what has happened to others' life. The series of comparisons, the segmented life. And finally, I'm so resistant and stubborn, I will not do it. I will do it when it makes sense. Let me check Google if this kind of exercise exists. Right? So these are all the 5 beautiful mindsets that we deal with on daily basis. And we call them in Vedanta, you would have gone through this kind of readings. So the first is the Mudha state. The Mudha state are passive people. They don't want to move. How much ever you influence, how much ever you work on them, they don't want to move, in the sense they want to be in the comfort zone. That is when we don't understand the culture, because we are so passive towards understanding the productive engagement that happened years and ages ago for us to be healthy today. When whole world was fighting against pandemic, we were some people who could resist, who could stand strong and fight against. So where did this DNA and the power of DNA came to us? It's only because of the hard work of people ages ago who have done enough research on mind and body equation. So that is why we are healthy today. And the second state of mind is the Kshipta state, asking questions. If you are a teacher, you would have realized that there is one child in your class who is disturbing. You know, always, whatever you ask or whatever way you happen to bring the content, there is one question from this child. Yeah. So there are the people who resolve their problems by asking questions. Questioning is the authority they are born with. And they are Kshipta. And Vikshipta are those people who experiment and learn, who explore and learn, who want to have a feel of life and then learn. Yeah. And Ekagra, focused people. If I am a professor in the college, I'm a professor at home. If I am a doctor, I'm a doctor at home. Okay, I don't change my syllabus at all. Wherever I go, I carry the baggage of my profession. Ekagra state of mind. And Niruddha. Niruddha is something that we are all supposed to work towards it, that live and let live. Empathy. So a lot of times we talk about being non-judgmental. We talk about being empathetic and all that. These are all the words, but we actually don't know what is being non-judgmental. So a lot of times I hear to a lot of speeches who talk about not judging others. It's not that. So there is no one person who cannot generate thoughts when you look at some new thing, when you look at your closed ones, and when you think of something about your future and past. It is hedonism. It's a natural psychological movement that you get thoughts. Yeah. So being non-judgmental is not judging your own thoughts as good and bad. Usually we judge our own thoughts. Hey, I'm a counselor. How can I think like that? You can certainly think like that. Nobody has control on this energy. But you should know what are the thoughts that you have to keep and what are those thoughts that you have to destroy. That is meditation. There is nobody who will tell you, I don't have thoughts. Thoughts are generated as long as you are in a subconscious and conscious environment. You cannot say no. Yeah. So getting into Niruddha state is knowing which are thoughts that are going to put you to productive moments and which are thoughts that you have to destroy. When you have that knowledge, then you are there in Niruddha state. When you are in Niruddha state, what is the influence of cultural intelligence? That, of course, your vehicle is being driven by intelligence today. And what are those things that you will be able to resolve through this programming? Number one is there are the 5 kleshas that we will be able to understand in our life. Number one is avidya, the ignorance. There are 7 stages of ignorance. If time permits, one of the day I would definitely talk about the 7 stages of ignorance. But ignorance is something that we need to work. So what is ignorance? There is always friction in our life between intellect and instinct, intellect and intuition. Okay, there is a strong feeling coming out of my guts. Nabi, Hrud, Kanta, Rasana. When you are speaking something, the voice has to travel, and the wiring is this. It reaches your guts, it reaches your heart where emotions are blended, reaches your throat, and then you will be able to talk. So your gut is the secondary brain. So Nabi, Hrud, Kanta, Rasana. So when you're having this kind of energy, it's very important for us to understand what is ignorance is. When you are able to understand your internal dialogue, lot of times we don't listen to it. We take our own decisions as if we know everything. And you might be sensing there is something wrong, I should not go, but I will go. Because I don't believe. So there is this series of frictions between your intellect and instinct, intellect and intuition. So whenever I talk about intuition, people think it is a supernatural power or something. No. It is the idea that gets generated out of your experience. So there are two kinds of experiences. One, you as a temple and you in the temple. So why do I talk about temple? Because that is where your 5 instincts are gradually activated for you to develop intuition or sixth sense. What are this? Number 1 is the clairvoyance. When you go to a temple, the first thing is you see beautiful sculptures. That is a visual feast. Okay, your visual nuances get activated. Number 2 is the auditory nuances, clairaudience. So you hear to the ringing of bell or the sound of bell and the chantings and the shlokas and everything. So your clairaudience is activated. And the next thing is the soothing of the warm environment, because the material in which the temple is built is going to give you the warmth, and your temperature automatically gets regulated. That is for your skin, the touch. And the clairgustance, that is when you take tirtham or prasadam, okay, that also gets activated. And the smell of flowers and camphor and all that. So by the end of it, your 6th sense is already activated. All your 7 chakras are in alignment. The moment you come out of the temple, you feel energetic and you believe that when I go to temple, I will be having ability to solve my problem. So my belief system is the deity there. Okay, but the science is this. So ignorance is not able to understand my intuition, not able to value my instinct. That is ignorance. This happened with Karna. So he never valued. The inner dialogue was telling him, you are going towards adharma. No, you should not go. He did not listen. And there was this 6th sense that he always realized this is not something that I have to do, but still he did. So a lot of times we get into the character of Karna. We do something which our body and mind definitely doesn't want us to, but we do it and we get into the problems, more problems. So ignorance, avidya. And the second thing is asmita. There is some background distortions. Yeah. When you don't evaluate, or when you don't understand yourself and give that self importance in life, that is asmita. When you don't count yourself, lot of times you don't need another person to abuse. We abuse our own self. We stop ourselves from being the one who we are, because I have to be in a family. For me to be in a family, I have to compromise on so many things. And compromisation is healthy. Sacrifice is not. And problem is we don't have that energy to tell no to people. You know, more than ignorance, we ignore our own self. There is no self-compassion. And the raga, Raga is the attachment, the way I am attached to people, the way that I cope up with my attachment, and how much possessive I am towards, how much expectations that I'm having in the environment. All of that comes under raga. And dvesha, I'm not able to forgive people. I carry so much of baggages from past. Yeah, and abhinivesha, fear for failure, fear for losing, fear for death. So all of this make us so numbed in the environment that we don't want to get influenced by the culture and its value. Ayo, let me look at my family. Who is bothering about all this? So that is the standout point at the end of the story. So this happened. Why it is happening? There is a incident where the conversation between Krishna and Karna. Karna he will express and share his feelings with Krishna. He will tell, why do you think that I am wrong? Why are you telling me to just drop all my weapons and surrender? Why is this? I was being born to a healthy family, was well-to-do, and my mother sacrificed me, and she just put me on a lotus, and she just let me go. Was that my problem? People called me Sutputru. Was that my problem? I wanted to get into the knowledge zone, and there was no guru at all. And I learned by telling lie. Was that my problem? And he will tell him the list of problems. Was that my problem? Was that my problem? And the way Krishna answers to his question, he will tell him, even before I was born, my death was declared. Was that my problem? And once I was born, I was being downtrodden and I was being sent to completely, I was being raised by another family. Was that my problem? At least you have married somebody whom you loved. I didn't even had that opportunity. Okay, so he gave him the list and he will tell him, just because life was unfair to you, nobody gave you license to choose a dharma. Lot of times in our life, we happen to experience that injustice. Just because we experience that injustice, nobody is giving us license to choose to get into shortcuts and move on in life in such a way that we are not even caring our own health or the health of the nation. So that is the reason it is very difficult in these days to paint big pictures. It is limited to family. So there are the other things that we need to okay, let me stop at this. Is there anything that you would like to add? Is this going as per your wish?
Yes, ma'am. Please continue. It's wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I would like to ask you one thing. What is a problem? How do we define that? Unless until we do that, we will not be able to understand what is quality of life. So according to you, what is problem? We all face problems, right? Yeah?
Yes.
We all have problems. There is nobody who is perfect.
Yes, Rashmi ji, please.
Yes.
Desire is a problem, according to me.
Desire is a problem. Okay, we will take each word and try to create the platform for us to discuss. If not desires, where do you get the energy to be lively? If you go to a 90-year-old and just ask him, what would you like to have for breakfast? He will tell you, I would like to have idli. That is the hope each one of us has. So where is hope generated? Without desire, without being wishful. So desire is not the only component which is the reason for our problem. There are much more. Yes?
Nilima ji, would you like to, I think you raised your hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Problem is the situation where we cannot solve that we don't have any solution for that situation, then we think that's the problem.
Okay. So problems, Vedanta talks about the problem, issue, turmoil, and trauma. There are the different stages of issues that we need to understand. So according to the modern science, it's just like what the difference between issue and a problem. So issue is completely with respect to the environment and situation. So I'm not able to cope up, I'm not able to develop good communication skill is an issue that is being creating lot of problems and conflicts in the family environment. That is an issue. The problem is I don't want to change. I want others to change. It's a problem. I'll continue being that. I'll get into emotional sickness. That becomes a turmoil. Turmoil is when our loved ones also participate in our problems, in understanding, in coping up, in dealing with, in helping. You see them running around. That is a turmoil. And when people bring in aversion towards you, when people bring in sympathy towards you, that becomes trauma. Right? There is the different stages, and Vedanta speaks beautifully on that. There are the tapatraya. Tapa is heat, traya is three. There are the three kinds of dukkha that we all go through, and that can be segmented as problem, issue, or turmoil, or trauma, whatever. So what are this? Adi bhautika, and Adi daivika, and Adhyatmika. So Adi Bhautika are the problems that is being created by the environment. It can be created by the lack of knowledge. It can be created by the materials. Today I'm driving Harrier and I wish to have BMW. So nobody is responsible for such kind of issues created. Yeah. And I have scored 90% and there's the best of best college in Mumbai has offered me seat, but I want to get into Stanford only. That is my problem, right? So these are all the Adi Bhautika problems. That can be something a person has to figure out. These days, among the individuals or young adults, we see 80% of them are getting into Adi Bhautika issues. I don't have a girlfriend and I don't have Apple AS phone and I don't have notepad, I don't have car, I don't have bike, I don't have a comfortable seating, I want AC in my classroom. Look at the kind of Gurukula was and look at the kind of education system. We are providing more of physical comfort and less of mental comfort. So that is the Bhautika issues that is being created, manuscripted within you. And there is something with respect to Adi Daivika, which we are not responsible. That it is contributed by nature. It can be a natural disaster. And the people who went through the disaster would have really undergone a lot of mental issues and physical issues, disabilities and all that. Pandemic is a wonderful example for that. We didn't even had in our dreams that we are going to get into this kind of issues, right? It is Adi Daivika. We need to deal with it. For that, we need to develop resilience, be together. That is when the cultural intelligence comes into role. And Adhyatmika. Adhyatmika is something with self, which I need to. I need to pay myself before I decide what has to be paid for others. Before things to change, I need to change. Working on myself for the betterment and how can I be a contributor where the nation is being given a value add portion. So that is Adi Adhyatmika. So this is an Adhyatmika group who is working towards gaining knowledge and working towards being productive. So that is the reason this Tapatraya is going to put us into a lot of confusion. And where is this Tapatraya is generated? So it is generated when you have lack of knowledge, when you have lack of skills and the negative approach in life. That is the first triad we need to understand. Icha Shakti, Gnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. Yeah. So there are people who are well read and have immense knowledge, but don't have skills to process. Yeah. I know so many things, but I don't have communication skills to communicate to people. I don't know to articulate. I don't know to comprehend. So knowledge is of no use, right? And there are people who have no knowledge, but know that they are capable of doing it. But they don't know the guru, they have no mentors, and they are not trained. And there are people who are both, but have ahankar in life. Approach towards life is not fair. So when you have all these three in alignment, Icha, Gnana, and Kriya, the byproduct is Viveka, the wisdom. So where is wisdom cropped? When you have knowledge, skill, and your approach falls in line. You know, you experience, and you have enough skills to process with a positive approach, you become wise. That is when you are wise, your value system is established. And as a result, your belief system is stronger. You'll be believing what you really have to. Yeah, your belief system towards yourself, the self-belief, will be stronger than anything else, is resilience. So this has been explained through Vedanta in different levels. And one of the level is where we understand how this particular progress can happen. So there are the lot of case studies that I have dealt over the period of 18 years, the kind of experience in meeting with different people, different culture, the value system and the background they come from. This is the basic thing that people have to understand. Without knowledge, I cannot move on. Without proper skill, without equipping skill, I will not be able to perceive life as it has to be. So there is a beautiful story which explains about this triads. So hope it is not boring. Yeah.
No, ma'am. It's
Yes,
wonderful. I
please go
think there
ahead.
is one person who's raised a hand.
Yeah.
Samsung SMG, can you please unmute and let us know your name
Umaji,
also?
it is yeah. I'm Vinu here. I've joined from Sydney, so that's the reason my name is not coming. It's the Sydney number, and I just wanted to I'm very happy that I'm able to join. And thank you so much, Umaji, for putting up these Tuesday sessions for us. And thank you, Asha ji. And you were asking us, ki, what is the main thing? And I feel our expectations are the main thing that comes in between all these things. Because although we always say, I'm not expecting anything, but in our heart, deep down, that expectation is very, very important factor, which brings about all these things that we're talking about.
Yes. So there is, okay, since you have got the word expectation, let us understand. Is expecting a negative aspect of life?
No, nobody expects negative aspect of life. Everybody wants positive.
There is a misunderstanding or misconception of the shloka that is there in Bhagavad Gita, which tell you don't look at the fruits, don't expect anything, you have to do your karma. But there is another context to the story or the experience of Krishna, who will never tell us not to expect, who will tell us you should know what to expect. Yeah. So a lot of times, I will give you a simple example. I was sitting in the garden and I was watching this lady in my apartment. And she's just married and she is around 26 probably. And it was raining and she wanted somebody to pick up and drop her to her classes, Sangeet classes. First, she called her brother. Okay. And he told no, I'm somewhere far. Okay, chalo. She left. She called her husband. Okay, then the drama started. How can you tell no to me? You're my husband. You should stand with me. It is raining. Can't you understand? So we should know how much to expect from. lot of times it's like playing the roles become very much important than the responsibilities associated with it. So expectations gets into mess only when we don't know what to expect from who. There are the different languages that we need to learn before we expect anything from another person. There is my husband who is not a man of word, he's a man of action. If two people have married together and one is highly expressive and the other person doesn't even express. Initially, I was making the letters and all the stories, and I used to give him gifts, make a nice dish, and before he comes, decorate it and all that. Yeah, nice, thank you. That was the response. Slowly, when I understood why this happens in people, there are the different languages that we speak. It can be love languages. There is this child who is an expressive lover, will definitely ask parents to talk about it, will definitely look for appreciation. And there is a reward orientation that the child is motivated not by talk, not by your touch and all that. The reward, when the child gets one small piece of sweet from you, that is what is going to keep the child moving. So likewise, we need to, when we are dealing with our family members, we need to understand the languages, not only love, even the fight has languages. When I'm into a fight mode, I'm a person, I don't speak to anybody, but I'll be contemplating in my mind how to put this point across. And there might be somebody in my life who wants to solve the problem then and there. So we don't understand what is our fight language, right? And more fight is going to get generated out of this misconception. So expectation is all about understanding each other's language and knowing how much to expect from whom, and not getting disappointed if something fails to reach. Disappointment leads to dysfunction, and dysfunction leads to anxiety, anxiety to other sources of emotional sickness. So that is the reason expectation is being spelled so much by the mental health professionals. So we cannot stop expecting. We should learn what is expectation and how much to expect. So there are these three equations that put us into mess: Sukha, Dukkha, and Moha. So when you don't understand what is Moha in life, what is Sukha in life, and what is Dukkha in life, what are these? Gestalt experience cycle speaks about this very beautifully. Whenever we tend to get into a kind of emotional energy, it can be anger, for example. So I'm angry on somebody. So there is a sensation that has to happen. That is, something has to trigger. An external stimuli has to really tap my mind. So that is when I realize, okay, there is a sensation. There is, I'm going to get angry. And I should be aware of that. I am going to get angry and I am angry. Okay, sensation, then awareness. Then happens mobilization. I need to send this energy out in some or the other by yelling, beating, shouting, or sitting silent, or crying, or shutting the door, whatever. Okay, so I mobilized, and then I reach into action. Once this action happens, what is that I'm going to feel? Do I regret? Do I repent? Do I rethink? Do I retreat? What do I do? And then final contact. What do I think about the whole episode? And the withdrawal. Am I ready for the next? When we don't have this cycle, Sukha, Dukkha, and Moha is less understood. Sukha is the state of bliss. Yeah. And the Moha is something that I relate to the attachments. And the Dukkha is something that puts you into the sorrow. So the best thing is when something arises for the Moha, it's a very beautiful example of Dronacharya. He had Moha towards his son. It was not love. Just because there was moha, he wanted to achieve for his son. Okay, that is what is important for us to understand. When you are raising your children, or when you are in a family, or you doing something on behalf of others, that is moha. Yeah, or you making somebody very independent of doing their own work, then that is love. Making somebody independent and self-reliant is what we are going to have to do, and that is the best way to contribute either to the family or to the society. So when the sukha, dukkha and moha is displaced, there is the 5 turbulence that happens in your life. So the number one thing is atma vichedana happens. That is, you will, atma here is self. You're just going to get out of yourself, get lost out of your own self. You don't want to think about your own life and self. That is the first stage. The second stage is Atma Nishkarshana. So what is this? You will stop appreciating yourself. You don't want to talk about good things about yourself. Somewhere feel that I don't deserve this. And the next aspect is Atma Nindana. So you will start self-blaming. I'm not worth it. Leave it. I will not be able to do. Okay, this is the problem. I'm the reason. Okay, done. I'm the reason. So I tend to become a kind of submissive person. I let go of everything. No challenges in life. Atma Nindana. And the next stage is Atma Himsa. I'll start abusing my own self. I don't deserve to be happy. Yeah. I'm not worth for these parents. I'm not worth for my brother. I'm not worth for my children. Yeah, finally, Atma Hatya. Why do people get into suicidal? It's not in one day. They travel across this road. They'll start Atma Vichedana, Atma Nishkarshana happens, and slowly they get into self-defeating or self-blaming exercise, and finally decide to kill themselves. Why does this happen? Because the bliss is not touched in life. Consciousness is not at all used in life. So what happens when you bring in consciousness to your life? Do you remember how you got up early in the morning and which leg did you keep it on the floor? And how was the design of the paste on your toothbrush? Do you remember all that? Yes or no? No. But we all definitely brushed, right? Yes. There are a lot of things we do through our unconsciousness and through our subconsciousness. There are a lot of things that my past memories influence me to do. There are a lot of things that, my influencing characters, it might be my mom, dad, or certain experiences of my life, will just let me do that. So we should be aware of all this. So it's very important to bring in consciousness into our life before doing anything. So if you are teaching consciousness to your children, that's more than enough. If you are bringing consciousness to yourself, that's more than whenever you are doing, or you 100% able to concentrate, or do you know really how you did that? Do this exercise whenever you get up early in the morning, that the whole act should be conscious. Which is the leg that you are putting down? How did you get up? You should remember. That's the best exercise. If you are 50 plus, then this is the best exercise for you to keep you away from all sorts of mental issues. Bringing in the consciousness. So what happens when you bring in consciousness to your life? First is Atmavalokana with DEC. What is this self-introspection? Atmavalokana, to flip the pages. What are the learnings that you had from the past? How to be productive in your future? You will be living here and now. Atmavalokana. So when you are able to self-introspect, then the self-compassion develops. Atma-bhimana. You will not let anybody to treat you in a way that you never want others to treat. Right? You will stand for yourself. Atma Vimana is very much important. And Atma Sthairya, that you don't need anybody to motivate you or fuse you courage. You are enough. Atma Sthairya develops. When Atma Sthairya develops, Atma Gaurava develops to another extent. You will be able to respect yourself. Before you expect anybody to validate your existence, you will be validating your existence. You are enough for your life. And finally, you will be able to get into a bonding that is pure consciousness bliss. Satchit Ananda. So that is when you reach Atma Anubhanda. So you'll have a bonding with yourself. You don't need any other friend other than you who can understand will reach out to you. A 2 a.m. friend. So this is very important for us, how we connect with our own self. If you are having this Sukha, Dukkha, Moha displaced, you'll be having attachment with self, not bonding. You need to bond with yourself so that you know how you think, how you process the information, and how your emotions are, and how you carry your life. You'll be aware of that. So when you know what you are thinking and what you are feeling, you will be acting very wisely. So we'll be able to hustle wisely in our life. So let me ask, okay, Anju, Anjuji, am I audible? Yes. Okay. How are you feeling, Anjuji? What's your feeling right now?
I'm concentrating on your talk, and like I'm trying to correlate with my knowledge. That is the only thing.
Okay. So, Lakshmi ji, what are you thinking?
Whatever you said now, like exactly, almost exactly what she said, there's how to put it in my life practically. As you said, consciousness, as soon as you wake up in the morning, every action should be consciously done.
Yes. That's the best brain gym exercise that you can do. And Rashmi ji, what is your feeling? How are you feeling? Unmute, please.
Hello, am
Yeah,
I
yeah.
audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
now we are.
I'm euphoric. I'm learning so many things, and I'm just thinking how to implement all these things. Because
Okay.
I'm learning, I'm forgetting also many things. So I'm just concentrating.
Okay.
But one thing I always do, which you said, that whenever you get up in the morning, you should be aware of what you are doing. That I am always doing.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shri Valsanji, what are you thinking?
In the morning, I consciously, I thought of doing things consciously, but usually I never do that.
Okay. Okay.
I have a lot of things I have to do. Affirmation, gratefulness, all these things sometimes I consciously not doing. Some days I do, some days I won't.
Okay.
Prayer, meditation, regularly I'm not doing. I thought of doing this daily in a conscious manner, but never do.
Okay.
Consistency is not there.
Whenever you ask yourself how you are feeling, you should be able to identify your emotions. That is the first step towards Satchitananda. How are you feeling? Is that happy? Is that fearful, scared? How are you feeling? Okay. What are you thinking? See, mind activities are different, emotional activities are different. Okay. That is the difference between, that is the reason we get into tridoshas. Tridoshas are when you get into pitta, kapha, and vayu in your body. When the fire, when the wind aspect in your body, and when you are tattva, where is you get into tridosha. So why do we get into Tridosha? Because we don't have a consistent mind-body equation. So the balance between Prakriti and Purusha. Prakriti is the feministic nature in your body. Purusha is the masculine nature in your body. So I always tell people, we just distinguish the human beings as two genders looking at their birth, you know. So, but each one of us do have a feminine character and do have masculine character. There are women, you see them being animus. Animus is a women body with masculine character. Okay, and there are men you see with a man, body of a man, but being very kind. Right? That is what is Prakriti and Purusha. So it is not outsourced keeping in mind your gender, keeping in mind what is the character that you possess. So when there is imbalance between the Prakriti and Purusha, the first thing that gets into displacement or distortion is your cognition, buddhi. That is why when a person is into depression, the person will not be able to process the information. That is why they see nightmares is experienced and lot of haphazard and displaced dreaming happens, and they overgeneralize, they personalize things, and they take blames very seriously. They are very sensitive to criticism, and they lose their sleep, they lose their appetite. Either they overeat or they don't eat at all. So why this happens? Because of the imbalance between Prakriti and Purusha Tattva in you creates distortion in your cognition. As a result, ahankar is disturbed, your ego. Either they get into aggressiveness by putting people down, by arguing, by throwing things, yelling and all that, or they get into submissiveness by letting go, by surrendering. Okay, as a result, intellect is blocked. We get into cognitive arrest. We all would have experienced cognitive blocks in our life. You open the fridge and think, why did I open the fridge? And when you close, you will remember, oh, this is the reason. So we all go through cognitive arrest once or the other time. But when a person is into mental, disturbances, they go through it on a final dose. So this happens only when there is imbalance between Prakriti and Purusha. So to bring Satchitananda, it's very important for us to bring in consciousness. How do we bring consciousness? Constantly asking yourself. When you are watching TV, just ask yourself, hello, Asha, how did you feel? How are you feeling? Okay, I'm feeling a little bit anxious about tomorrow's session. Okay, anxiety. So what are you thinking? Let me off this TV and go and prepare. You should be that much clear. What happens as a result? Your chit will have power to decide what you want in your life. So that is very important exercise, and hope you will all do this to increase or to work on the competency or the ability of your cognition. So that is very important. And finally, Satchitananda is also explained in a very beautiful way in Mahabharata. So why do people get into cognitive arrest? What exactly it is? We all would have learned Mahabharata in a very different way. And I'm going to narrate the incident in Mahabharata in a very different way, which one of the author has described Mahabharata. It's a original Sanskrit text which speaks about Mahabharata and the Satchitananda. So what does that say? When Draupadi was being pulled to the court, and when Dushyasana was disrobing her, all her 5 husbands were bending their head and sitting. We all as human beings, we would have faced this in one or the other time in our life. When all our 5 sense organs just decide not to support, I'm not able to see. I'm not able to hear a support. I'm not able to see one person holding my hand. I'm not able to have that assurance from people that there is something good going to happen. That is when I surrender, believing that there is some power and energy which is going to help. So Draupadi did that. Mahabharata is explained, keeping in mind the five senses, not five aspects. So when Draupadi surrenders, there is a conversation that happens between Draupadi and Krishna. Okay, she will tell, I expected you immediately. You took 1 minute time. Why? So the way you called me, you called me Dwarakadish. So if you would have just called my name, I would have come. You called me Dwarakadish. I have to go back to Dwaraka and come back again. So we don't know to voice out also, to whom to share, right? So we all face this kind of situations in our life. What is to bring Sachitanand? We should know when to realize I am enough for myself. I don't need anybody. Even Draupadi thought that. She thought I am equal to 10 elephants. I am Agniseni. I am enough. Dushyasana will tell her, you might be equally capable and equally stronger to me, not your clothes. There are a lot of times we might be stronger, not the family. We might be stronger, not the people around. Right? So it's very important for us to reach that pure consciousness bliss. We need to consider all of these facts. That is our quality of life. How much healthy physically I am, how much healthy emotionally I am, how much healthy spiritually, how much healthy psychologically, that makes you a happy person. So thanks for giving me an opportunity. And it was an evolved group of individuals. And thank you, Umaji. So Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya, Vyasa Rupaya Vishnuve. So I believe in the core science of our culture, and our culture is built on very strong pillars. And as long as we don't realize what we have, the peace within and harmony with others will just be an imagination. So let us work together. Let's draw a big picture, and let us together achieve it. What nature has or universe has one law which always works. What you focus is going to magnify. What magnifies is going to manifest. Let us work towards something which is going to manifest and make this beautiful nation a better place to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashaji. Thank you so much for a very, very enlightening hour. I think you still have time, and I'm sure anybody may be having questions.
Yes, I will definitely.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So anybody, any questions you have, you can definitely ask.
Ma'am, can you hear me? Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
I thought of, in the morning, I thought of consciously doing so many things. Affirmation, thankfulness, meditation, so many things. I joined so many things programs, minimum up to 5 o'clock in the morning, but most of I want to take up weekly 1 or 2 days I do. Otherwise, you sleep.
Okay.
Then what I have to do? What is the solution? How to resolve this?
Okay. See, procrastination, what is procrastination is made of. So there is a beautiful thing. Yeah, I would like to bring in a very beautiful story to help you understand what exactly happens to us. There was this, you would have heard about the Pandarapura in Maharashtra. Yeah. This is when this is an experience that is being there as a itihasa. It speaks about there was this watchman who was every day sweeping the temple. Okay, he used to sweep the temple, he used to stand there and guard every day. And even though he was not well and he was into some issues also, he never could miss doing this. And one day it was eclipse. And during this eclipse, nobody were there. He was just the God in him. And the God was so pleased with his consistency. He came to him and he told, okay, I'm the God, and every day you are doing so much for me. Oh my God, I saw always you were standing. Now at least you sit, nobody's there. So he's so innocent that he doesn't know to ask him anything, or he doesn't know to how to treat him. He was just innocent like a small child. He will bring a big sofa and he will tell him, hey, I fed up of looking at you always standing, please sit. So it's almost time, 2 minutes. All the devotees are going to flock in. So he will tell, I don't have time. Hey, I will do your work. I'll be standing there. Don't worry, you sit. So he's that much innocent. So he will go to the Sanctum Sanctorum and he will stand. So before sending him, God will give him 2 instructions. Don't use your mouth. Don't use your mind. If you have to be a God, you should not use your mind. You should not speak. It was such a thing that there are the people coming in, the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law will come. And mother-in-law is telling her, she's not even good looking. How can I introduce her to my people? And she's telling, oh, the most beautiful bahu you gave me. So he's understanding everything. He's not supposed to use his mind and talk. That this lady is lying. Likewise, when we more concentrate on our actions, we are going to lose on the track for life. When we are acting upon something, if we are conscious about it, that is enough. It's okay to procrastinate, sir. Procrastination is okay. But that 2 days, how we are able to spend time all matters. It's not that how we are going to spend all the 7 days. Okay, there are people whom I see meditating all the 7 days, and I see people who meditate for only 3 days, but they are better than them. It's not like work or a job. So what if you like to do something and if you are passionate about and you get the fantastic result out of it. And if you are not passionate, just because somebody told you are doing it is not going to fetch anything. So if you are doing for 2 days, do it with grace, do it with lot of will. So that is going to help. So a lot of actions, we do it with our mind and talk. So a lot of times to solve our problem, we need to be like God. Don't use your mind, don't talk at all. It did happen with Krishna and Arjuna also. So they were walking the side of the river bank and Arjuna will ask him, what is karma actually? I see there is a lot of kids who are fishing there. And the fish is being stuck to very few kids, that net. Is that the karma of the child or is that the karma of the fish? Okay, there are thousands of fish in the net. And this child is catching this fish. Is that the karma of this fish or child? Okay. Arjuna, when he asked this, Krishna beautifully answers this. It's neither of their karma, just because the fish unnecessarily opened its mouth. So a lot of times, knowledge is so bad that we bring in knowledge so much to our life that we make breathing is also an exercise, right? So sometimes we need to be quiet. Sometimes we need to be silent. Sometimes we need to bring in patience. It's okay not to be okay. Right? That is the mantra that only will work. We are not perfect. Universe is not perfect. So we belong to universe and we are universe. So we are not perfect. We are looking for perfection among imperfections. So this is one life and lead it with a lot of energy, happiness. Hope I answered your question, sir. The more and more you try to bring in the balance to your life, you're going to miss the rope. So the lesser effort you put and more passion you bring, you'll be able to achieve more. What you believe, you conceive. What you conceive, you are going to achieve.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashaji. Beautifully explained. I think you answered many questions of many people by just this one example. Anybody else has any question or would like to share something? You can unmute yourself. No one? People are still absorbing everything. Yeah, Anju, yes.
Satchitanand is the higher state of mind. Is it possible to reach there?
See, when you see a newborn, it is Sachidanand.
Yes.
The more you bring wonder to your life, Sachidanand is achieved. So what is wonder? This is my signature example that I give whenever I explain about wonder. You know, when you see a 3-year-old and a butterfly passing, how will be the expression of 3-year?
Just to,
Wow!
yes.
You know,
Yeah.
3-year-old will never care about the environment, who is watching, what is the result, nothing. Over the period of time, when you see a 6-year-old and a butterfly passing by, the 6-year-old will have an association. Mama, the butterfly, just like on my rhyme book. I'll associate everything to my learn. What happens? The butterfly pass by a 12-year or a 13-year.
Not
The
born.
facts come into your life. Oh, this is metamorphosis. I think this is the last stage of it. Yeah. And when it passes by a 1920, it is the age that is going to happen. Singing a song, looking at the girlfriend or boyfriend. And when it passes by 40 years, believe me, they don't even look at that. Okay, Satchitanand is very difficult to achieve if you lose innocence and wonder in life. So rediscovering your own child, that inner child, is important to achieve Satchitanand.
But we are so much engrossed in the daily life or daily routine life, in the all the karmas we are doing. I don't think, like, there may be hardly few people who can reach to that level.
See,
So
that is through various kriyas. Okay, so that is through the medium of the body, medium of the mind, and medium of Panchabhutas. Okay, Satchitanand can be achieved. So a lot of times, we don't use our body to that extent that the body is made for. And you don't use our mind to such extent, the power of mind only we don't realize. So there are the various mediums to achieve Satchitanand. So there are as you said, there are very less people who have achieved it. But let me tell you, those people who have achieved it, okay, have experienced the bliss through the process of achievement, not the achievement itself.
yeah, agree.
Right? So when you already made up your mind to travel towards Satchidananda, you're already there. You're already progressing and you're already seeing the divine. Right? The process is important. The path is important. Diksha is all about that.
Yes.
Nowadays in colleges, you see farewell and other. So in Gurukul, we did have Diksha Pradhana. So Diksha Pradhana is all about, Diksha is made of 2 words, Disha and Viksha. Okay, Disha is direction, Viksha is the vision. So the Guru can give you vision and direction, nothing else. But when you receive that and travel in this path, that itself is Satchitanand. That itself is progress. That itself brings that Anandamaya to you.
But as long as we will think from our mind, will it be possible? Because mind is something we want everything to be logical. We judge it technology wise or everything,
See.
anything.
See,
So
there is the 7 layers of mind that we need to understand, from conscious to super conscious and ultimate mind. Each layer, if we start understanding, then mind is a beautiful concept. So it's just like how snake removes the older skin. We need to remove our past baggages. We need to remove the factual things out of our life, because Maya is all about that. Okay, so there is one incident that Narad Maharishi will come to Krishna. They'll ask him, "Are you are a great guru, you are a Jagat Guru. Come on, tell me what is Maya? What is delusion and illusion and all that?" So he'll tell, "Go and bring some water." So Narad will go, and immediately there is a flood, and Narad will get into the flood and go to some village, marry a person. All that will happen, and finally he realizes and will come back to Krishna with the water. So this is almost 12 years. What happened in 12 years? I don't remember. That is Maya.
yes,
Right? You don't even realize that how the minutes are moving, how the time, the kala is moving, and you reach to some place and you look back to your past. You have done so many things. Some things that put you to guilt, some things that put you to happiness, some things that you are happy with and not happy with, so many things. That's Maya. Okay, so as long as we surrender to Maya, we don't realize the power of mind. So living here and now is important. This moment is yours, Anju. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. We are not promised the next moment. Live about to go. So living here and now itself is Satchit Anand. Yeah, are you happy now? Is it? Yeah.
thank you.
Anybody else has any questions? Okay. So
Okay, Maji.
thank you, Asha ji. Thank you so much for such an enlightening session. Beyond grateful. And anybody who would like to get in touch with her, because she conducts a lot of courses, you can visit the website Asha The Hope.
Yeah.
We'll put it in the Tuesday Gathering group. Ma'am, which numbers can I share? You can just message me and I will share it accordingly.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Sure, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for accepting me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll close with a prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. See you again next week with another session.